For the organizational competence, I think it's important that students have clarity in their schedule so they know what's expected of them and when they have to hand in certain assignments. If they know their deadlines and their activities beforehand, they can manage their own time accordingly, because naturally students don't just follow your subjects, they have other subjects they need to deal with. And being well organized and being well prepared will help them deliver their work in time and make sure if students know what's expected of them, when it's expected of them, and how it's expected of them, they will be motivated to do the task and they will pretty much get it done for sure. I think that for me personally, I didn't really develop much on this skill this year. It's not that I don't have this skill. I do have a general ability to organize. It's just I still have a general ability to organize, so not much has changed. I'm not very specific with my timings of stuff. I usually, the way I learn and the way I manage time is that I plan the day of doing the assignment or doing the task, and not the specific like, oh, I'll do it in the morning or midday or at night. I'll just say I'll do it Tuesday and make sure I'll do it or work on it on Tuesday. And then I won't restrict myself with the timings of it. So I can work on it short or long or with breaks between or just in one sitting. That really depends on the day and how I'll feel and how much I've slept and where I'm at. So I generally plan, but not specifically. And that generally works for me. As long as I get started on my tasks, it will get done. Starting on the task, I mean, I laugh about it now, but that was a problem this year. I had that during the first period, and I had it again during the fourth period. And I can explain that with a variety of arguments. In motivation, in the situation of COVID-19, in my own personal headspace that I was at in the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. It's the fact that the organization of those assignments existed. It was just not started upon, so it was not followed through, so they were not made. And I think that specifically these tasks were such individual ones, and the responsibility was solely to myself, in combination with the fact that I was, and I still am in a sense, unsure of whether or not I would become a teacher and was motivated enough to teach. Plus the fact that these assignments were so wide, like could be interpreted in so many. I didn't know how I wanted to do them, so I was mentally so much working up on how I was going to do this, and instead of just sitting down and making a beginning on it and just working my way through it, I was so worked up on making that beginning that I didn't get started. And the matter of postponement came in, and all that combined just made me not do it. Plus the fact that I don't want to say a perfectionist, but I want to deliver good work. It's important for me that it's something is completely finished when I hand it in. I can't, because if I know beforehand it's not going to be done when I hand it in, I know it's not enough and I will fail the grade, so I will not hand it in. I'll be like, no, it's insufficient. I don't need to show you insufficient work. I don't want to show you insufficient work. So these were issues during the first year that tie in with organization, but specifically if the project was a group project and the responsibility was to the team as well as to myself, as well as with the traditionally history subjects and the history subjects in general, where a lot of material was, for me, felt personally easier motivated, and it was clearer for me what I had to learn. And in these moments, for those, everything went okay, and I passed those. And for the others, it's a work in progress, which is why I defend my statement that I have general organizational skills, and that I still have general organizational skills. And in terms of time management, in a personal setting, improvements can be made, but it could be worse. And in the professional settings, improvements can be made, but it can be worse. General development. For next year, I want to try out setting, I am trying out setting specific times. So making specific time moments to study, but also making specific time moments and writing down the planning instead of being like, I'll do it that day. I'll be like, I'll do it from 10 till 12, and then maybe another moment from before dinner. So 4 to 6, generally speaking, and then another one after dinner, like 8 to 10. So you still have the day planned out, but then you have certain moments of when you're working on it, and you're gonna be forced to sit down in these moments and put everything else aside but your schoolwork, and having free times around that. Organizational competence also deals with class management, and while we haven't really, I didn't teach during my teaching practice 2 weeks, so I didn't really practice a lot about it. We did learn a lot about it, about positioning in class, about verbal and non-verbal communication skills, about the way the classroom is used to, like the interior of the classroom can be used to further learning development of the student. So if you have engaging in a classroom, a nice classroom instead of just a bare roomed crib, always helps to motivate. I know from some feedback that I've received that my personal classroom management skills can be worked on, in the sense that I am too much of a hovering teacher. Like, I want too much control, I guess, over the achievement of the class, instead of making the students feel free to make their mistakes and to learn from their mistakes. So what happened with the instruction, and Isabella said that I should make sure that it's the students teaching themselves that really helps them gain more control over the knowledge and deeper knowledge of the subject. So I should let them more, instead of being so focused on wanting them to understand, which is a good thing for development of next year. Being aware of this, and being aware of what this does to just to the students and their learning, and then adapting my own style accordingly. And yeah, just general, I really want to generally practice this in person. I think for me to develop as a teacher, it's very important, if not vital, that I get practical experience. So in this one specifically as well, class management, practical experience, just being in front of a classroom, managing a class. It might seem, it might seem a bit broad, but at the same time, it's very specific as well, because that's it. Yes.